What's up, guys? We are back. Peach Fuzz, episode 16. First round of the playoffs edition. Man, what a week. A lot of good weeks for all three of us, really. Avery, we'll start with you. Malachi, what in the world?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't kind of at a loss for words, kind of how to go about even describing that series, but it was
a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was electric. But yeah, Malachi Washington, 3 bombs, and they weren't cheapies at all. So I mean,
everybody was
every tune of 400 feet.
He was getting a little chirped in a small field, but I'm like, guys, these would have went out at every park in the state.
Yeah, I think reportedly one of them was like 105 off the bat. So I mean,
all bombs.
Yeah, that's out anywhere. So
yeah, picking these games are like no fun for any of us. Like we were just talking about, the FOMO is going to be real this Tuesday, and then especially the following. Ian just mentioned on the 7th and 8th, all of those Elite 8 matchups are on the same day, so it's gonna.
It's just very rude. Like it's just rude.
We gotta split it up. There's so many like nobody else has as many classifications as we do. Like we gotta find a way to split it up so we can see more games, but. Anyways, Avery had to get that out of the way, even including the like, what was that price? 5 or 6 inches of rain you were standing in.
He's like, I'm cool. Nothing, something slight. He's like 3 inches deep in his shoes, like standing on the backstop. I'm like, what is this kid doing still at the field? Like,
dude, I was on my way to Central versus Maynard Jackson. I like pulled off an exit, like probably 8 or so miles away, like right inside of what is that? Almost like Midtown area. Hailstorm, complete hailstorm. I'm in the Chick-fil-A drive-through. I have to like swerve under to get underneath the awning, and then I drive 10 more minutes, and the field is perfect at Maynard Jackson. And I'll kind of kick it off there, man. That series lived up to the hype. Avery, I know you were excited for that one. Maynard Jackson was a team that you got to see early in the year. I popped in on them kind of mid-year, but man, it was a lot of fun. Charlie Schroep absolutely shoved in game 1. And took it into the 6th. He was at like 95, 96 pitches going into the 7th. Got 2 outs, runner on first, Grant Chafin barrels one through the 4-hole, and then they come up with a big, Blake Culverhouse comes up with a big double down the line to tie it. And then Central ends up getting the win in that one. And then not to mention game 2, same thing, kind of a back and forth offensive battle between both teams. Pierce Henry had a bomb. Maseo White had a bomb. Bradley Willingham went off. Asher Allen had a bomb. So all the young guys produced for us, which was a lot of fun to see. And Maynard Jackson ended up making it a game 7-4, or they came back. They were down 7-4 in the last inning, brought it back to 7-6, but ended up getting the strikeout for the win there. But a lot of fun there to kick off the playoffs for me. That was like a matchup I was looking forward to. Ian, what'd you kick off with?
Yeah, Carrollton Mountain View. I was looking forward to that. Andrew Breck pitching in that one. Obviously, he went game 2 after a Carrollton game 1 win with a really good start from an uncommitted senior and John Cobb. He kind of just filled it up. He worked around some traffic in the early innings. Mountain View loaded the bases in the first, and he escaped no runs. And they had 2 on in the second, and he escaped again. Some timely hitting from Caleb Hudson, who's moved into the outfield now, playing some center field after playing second a lot of the year. The bat's really coming along at the right time. Caleb Binion, 2 barrels to the pull side as well, which is good to see. Gunnar Foken has looked as good as I've ever seen him. Hit a ball like probably 375 pull side, but foul, locked in. Took a pitch for a ball, then hit another ball off the wall for a double, and same at bat. Really looks locked in. Came in and had a good AB in the next game as well, and really locked that one in.
Game 3. He ended up pitching game 3.
Pitched game 3, yeah. Game 3, and then Phil. I think he went 6 innings. Had a really good start there as well. Like I mentioned, Andrew Breck went in game 2. It was off and on rainy night on I think it was Tuesday night. Now it was kind of a miserable weather night. Yeah, it took me 2 hours to get home that night driving from Carrollton, which was crazy, but looked great again. Battle some traffic. The fastball just continues to jump out of the hand. It was 87, 89, up to 90 tonight. I was standing there with some recruiting coordinators that night. I get to look at them, and like you just can't see the fastball out of the hand. Like, you can be sitting fastball and it's going to get right through the zone, and just like it's like 2,500 spin. He fills it up either side of the plate. You're not sitting on it, and then when he gets comfortable later in the innings, he'll start ripping off the slider. Like, pretty much whenever he wants, he'll triple down on it in at bats. He'll throw a 3-0. Like, he can live off that pitch when he's feeling it. And 10 going complete, getting that game 2 win to push it to 3. Obviously, Carrollton pulled it out in the end with the game 3 victory, but they fought, man. I knew it was gonna be a big outing from Breck. Obviously, he's given up two runs in 50+ innings this year,
Insane.
So you knew it was gonna be in 6A baseball as a sophomore. That's just like his numbers I've seen in a while. So you knew you get what you were gonna get from him, and it was a good outing. But yeah, it was a good night in Carrollton. Glad to be there. It was the first place I went to this spring for a practice once we got the season kicked off. So it was pretty cool to start the playoffs there as well. So excited for them, and now they're moving on to face Etowah this week, which is no easy task as well. So
yeah, for sure there. And Avery, I know we kind of had a little recap of your game, right? Parkview versus North Atlanta. Other than the bombs being hit all over the field, tell us about a couple of those freshman appearances on the mound, both from North Atlanta and from Parkview.
Yeah, so Cal Williamson, lefty for North Atlanta, freshman, he filled it up. I mean, he wasn't afraid. He just kind of went in and attacked, and it was a really strong start. I think he went 6 innings, I believe, and kind of led them to victory. And then game 3, it was Dalen Jones-Teasley. Yeah. Went 6, 9 strikeouts, and
ticked up.
Pretty electric. Yeah, he was up 85.
From preseason All-State, whenever you sent me that video, I checked back and was looking at some of his numbers from All-State. And obviously his January indoor event ramping up, but good to see that from him. Lean, projectable frame, definitely one for Parkview to really look forward to, especially with losing Porter Berryman next year. That's going to be a go-to lefty for him, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, sweet. Next, we jump to where did I go? I went to Raven Gap versus Bremen, which was fun. Doubleheader there. Was hoping for a Carter Allen versus Chase Alonso matchup in game 2, and I was lucky enough to get it after Bremen took the win game 1. And they really went blow for blow, back and forth for 5 innings. Alonso had a no-hitter going through 5. Carter Allen had a 1-hitter going through 5. Ended up getting a run on a fastball on a hit by pitch. So but yeah, they were going back and forth. A lot of fun there. Carter Allen was a guy that was a junior future gamer, popped up at Georgia Day Club, looked awesome. I went to see him mid-year, looked really good, but this was definitely the best I saw him. It was 87, 89 the entire time. Kind of same thing, similar with Breck. Like, the fastball really rides through the zone. Ton of swing and miss. Breaking ball's still coming together. It's still like 2,700 plus spin at times when he gets a good one. And Alonso was the same way. Alonso went to breaking ball whenever he wanted, essentially. Get a ton of swing and miss against a good Bremen team that can really hit. Ended up getting a rain delay at like probably 9. Didn't start back till 11:30 or so. Was not there for the resumption of that game, but the coach sent me a video, and they stole home with it still 1-0 and tied the game and ended up getting the win 5-4. So Bremen on to the next round. They're awaiting an opponent. Pepperell versus Thomasville is playing game 3 tomorrow, I believe. So talking to the Bremen coach a little bit, that Thomasville is in a tough region. Same thing with that was the region that beat Gordon Lee, I believe. Gordon Lee lost game 1, 2-1. So, yeah, to Bentley County. So coach said really strong region. Definitely going to be a tall task for Pepperell, but obviously that Pepperell-Bremen or Thomasville matchup in round 2 is going to be really good. But that was all for me this week. Looking forward to next week. What'd you hop to? 3A? 3A to 1A?
Where was I at this week? I actually stopped in on Wednesday and saw a little 4A action. Marist and Benedictine. They got rained out for their game 2 on Tuesday, so had a chance to pop in over there at an 11:30 start. Couldn't really pass that up. Saw Jamie Vicens on the mound, a guy we've seen a ton this spring, and they've been the best I've seen him probably in any outing that we saw. Up to 94, the fastball had a ton of arm side run to it. It was really zipping through the zone. Like, I mean, you say zip to it, but like it was really jumping out of the hand with run, which was good to see from him. Pitching with intent, was snapping off 2 breaking balls, showed the changeup as well. Struck out 7 over 4. A couple of timely hits from them. Martin Sheelar hit a screamer double off the wall that should have got out probably any other day. 3-0 swing and hit a missile. They had some timely hits from around the bed. Jack Simmons had a bases clearing double that was big early. I believe home run for Roshan Bullard as well, alongside with the backside barrel for him. He looks good. Batting in the 9-hole for them kind of gives them an option in the back end to really hit for power or for average. So he kind of flips the lineup for them, which is probably one of the best lineups in 4A outside of Blessed Trinity. Obviously, that lineup's ridiculous, but that Marist lineup is deep and they hit really well, and they had a convincing sweep over Benedictine as they move into the next round.
Yeah, for sure. That was good to jump in on. And then what was third? Bluff, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cherokee Bluff on Thursday against Lumpkin County. A really good night for Bubba Coleman. Really swung the bat really well. Had 2 doubles in the first game and I believe it was a single. It could have been an error early for an RBI that was hit really well pretty much through the third baseman's glove. Added a long pull side homer in the second game as well to really send them into the night as well. It was kind of a close game to that point. They scored some runs late. It was honestly the craziest thing I've seen in a while in a high school game, but I had seen a sophomore get intentionally walked 5 times over a course of a doubleheader, which is just insane to see. Obviously, shout out to Bryce Fontenot. It's not a slight on you. He's had a ridiculous year, 13 bombs for the sophomore, and obviously Lumpkin County did it. Who was behind him? I can't remember now, but it was another. KT Thompson.
Oh, so, yeah.
Certain times
that's what you said. I'm like,
they're.
Do we really? Like KT was the hottest player in 4A last year,
exactly. and you're walking a sophomore to get to a D1 commit. I mean, obviously, you can get beat on one swing, so you don't want that to happen. But to see that over and over again, obviously with 2 outs, I mean, they did it to load the bases late in the game, which was crazy to see. KT came through with a big pull side swing right after that to give them a 3-run lead and then really kind of ice the game for them. But yeah, shout out to Bryce Fontenot. Obviously, this scouting report is out for him, but hopefully he sees some pitching in the playoffs. But yeah, that was insane to see. His mom was like grabbing video next to me like during the game, and like she just like couldn't believe it. Every time she'd like get down, take a video, and like it'd be like instantaneously get sent down, and she just like couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, I haven't seen anything like that. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. They look good. They're getting hot at the right time. Like I said with KT, he's starting to swing really well, missed some time early in the year, coming back from an injury. So getting him hot at the right time with guys like Bubba and Ethan England swinging it well, and obviously Bryce Fontenot. So yeah, that lineup's deep. Bo Bruns looks really good as well. I think he's hitting over 310 now. He's walking a ton. He's not striking out. Hit a pull side barrel for a double as well. I had another one after I left, I believe as well. So yeah, that lineup looks good, and they continue to produce. So I'm excited to see what they can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I kept waiting for them. Like we kind of mentioned a couple times, kept kind of waiting for them to get rolling. They faced the Northwest Whitfield team. I don't know a ton about, but that kind of North Hall series is in the Elite Eight, so that's a big one to look forward to. Avery, just real quick, what were your last couple matchups? I think popped over for Game 3 of Mount Vernon versus Hebron yesterday. Mount Vernon ends up getting the win. I just added. Who was that? 2 playoff performers. Preston Rice came big, right out of the pen, it looked like for them.
He filled it up, really gave him a chance. But I think it kind of starts at the top with Coach Jeremy Beckham. He's really well-coached group over there, and they he just kind of, I don't know, just matchup-wise, like he was going in and out of the pen, and it was pretty fun to watch. But, yeah, they've got a bunch of young guys over there that kind of.
Yeah, Hudson Forrest, junior future gamer for us. Saw he hit a home run in game 1 or 2, I believe. But no, he's been swinging it well. And you saw them earlier in the year. You kind of hinted that one to us a little bit with Mount Vernon, like they got a shot, and obviously put it together against a really, really good Hebron Christian team. And shout out JB. He was my 16U coach over the summer. We traveled all over, the country in a charter bus with the Atlanta Blue Jays. So I text you that. I was like, make sure you say what's up. And he's like, man, he can really coach. But yeah, he's the man. Does a really good job with those guys. Guys really rally behind him. I would assume just based off what I know. So yeah, good stuff there.
I remember Grayson from last year. They're just a really gritty lineup. They just kind of get after it.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, without further ado, we'll go ahead and start getting into some of these Sweet 16 matchups. And from what I'm hearing, like we're making a little bit of noise with chatting on some stuff. Like we're not making any too many bold claims, but just to say, like, shout out to everybody making it to the Sweet 16. Whether you're a 1 seed, 4 seed, 2, whatever it is, like we're pulling for all you guys. We want to see everybody succeed, and we want to try to cover the games the best we can, but and get the most information we can out of all these teams. And like I said, we're not making picks. We're just talking about what we've seen. So yeah, kick us off.
Shout out to everybody watching as well. Like I mean, I think I went to 3 or 4
that's the good thing. I'm excited everybody's watching.
Everybody keeps talking about it. I was at Georgia Tech yesterday and saw a kid. Obviously, shout out to Ryan Trout, who was there watching the game with his family. Came up, and first thing he said was Peach Fuzz. So like, I mean, that fires me up. Every time that I hear somebody's watching, like it really just kind of juices me up. So like. Hope we're saying we're not trying to say the wrong things about these matchups. Obviously, what we're seeing and what we're saying. Obviously, we got called out on some stuff from last week, which kind of fires me up, which is good. Like shout out to those teams that are winning. We can't see everybody, but we try to, and we're just trying to do the best we can. But
no
let's
doubt.
just jump into
it. Yeah, for sure. Just to touch on super quick, Cherokee Lowndes went to 3 games. So we're kind of expecting. Brinson Roundtree pitched the game of his life against Reed Worley. Ended up beating them 2-1 in that game 1, so that was huge for Lowndes. Cherokee fought back, got a 2-win, assuming they had Sammy Erickson on the mound, giving him a shot, did his thing, and then game 3 rolled it out there and ended up losing 2-1 to that one. So that was one we really had our eyes on and went the kind of expected game 3. And now they match up with a Mill Creek team. Ian, you got to see these guys early in the year. I know, Daniel Pierce, Will Myhan, Walker Myhan leading the way for them. But I feel like this could be a pretty good hitter-ish matchup, just knowing what we know about the arms. But with the way Lowndes' arms, it appears, stepped up against Cherokee. It looks like they may have some stuff rolling here in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I mean, Lowndes is the team you want to get hot at this time. Obviously, a back-to-back state champion. Obviously, the Mill Creek series went 3 games, but some of those bats you mentioned are getting hot at the right time. Will Myhan with a big home run in that series. They're not pitching to Daniel as much as you want to see, so I think he walked a ton in this game, but he's going to come through and you need it. Swings the ball well. Walker's came through with some big swings. Getting that team hot against this pitching from Lowndes that's stepping up at the right time is going to be a fun matchup to watch. And I think, it could go either way here, but Lowndes is riding a hot win over a big arm and Reed Worley. Obviously, getting that 1-0 win last week was huge for them. Sammy Erickson coming back and getting that game 2 win made it a series. But I think that was a big win for Lowndes and that team to come back, and they lost a ton from the back-to-back state championships to come out here and to win a series with the team they have. It's going to be a ton of momentum moving into this next round.
Yeah, and some guys are stepping up that we've got to see in the past. Hank Drew's behind the dish for him, been a big sophomore asset.
Dude, we have the funniest group of 28 names right now in the state now with Hank Drew, Steve, my guy Gus Steve. For everybody
watching, Peter Hunt gives us a hard time for double first names in the state of Georgia, and it kind of happened with the 25 Future Games team with John Davis, Noah Allen, who else? I'm trying to think who else. So like anytime we say somebody that's like has 2 names that are both can be first names, Shooter is just like all over us about it. So it's just like kind of the running in joke that we have going on, which is funny. But dropping down, Brookwood, Denmark. This was kind of one I was really looking forward to. Kind of went 3 games as we were expecting. Jack Powell shoved game 1 for Denmark. Joe Soto, future gamer for us, shoved game 2 for Brookwood. And shout out Joe Soto. I quote tweeted one of his tweets, but like I saw him first game of the season last year, 78-82, coming out of the pen after Jackson Barberry, and he's bumping 90 now after, pretty much a little bit over a year. So awesome progression from him. Took it game 3, ended up hopping over there for game 3, being pretty close to me, and same thing, didn't disappoint. Went back and forth. Denmark scored 2 runs, go-ahead run on a squeeze play. Curtis Mayer didn't stop at second base and kept rounded and scored the go-ahead run. Easton Holmes came in for Denmark, looked really good on the mound, threw 3 or 4 innings in relief, a couple high-pressure innings for him. Some stuff could have gone either way, but Brookwood ended up getting the win in that one. Shia Brown, I believe. Yeah, Shia Brown ended up getting that go-ahead hit for Brookwood. But, yeah, just touching on that real quick. Brookwood Grayson, this is a fun one. Not in the same region this year. Avery, you're already grinning down there. What you got on this matchup?
Yeah, fun little Final Four matchup from last year here. Might pop over if I have time this week, but yeah, that's gonna be a good one for sure.
Yeah, your mic's a little bubbly there. If you can work on that at all. Anyways, sliding on down to the next one, like we said, Carrollton Etowah. I like this matchup. Etowah had a little bit of interesting run against Richmond Hill. They put up some runs in game 1, but they ended up holding them there, and Condon came through with the walk-off hit in game 1, and then they got the win in game 2. But interesting matchup. Like I said, like we mentioned, this Carrollton team was a team that we were high on coming into the year. They got some pieces. They got some guys, like you said, that can get hot, some young guys in the lineup. Binion could unload. Binion's always hit velo really well when I've seen him, and obviously going to see that in Sharman and Rose. So this is the type of lineup that could match up with this Etowah team, but I'm really interested to see what happens here. Obviously, the Etowah lineup is the biggest piece. If Carrollton can get some of those guys out in key spots, then I think they could push some games here, but we'll see. Muted.
Yeah, I think that's a fun one there. I think Cade Malkerman's going to be key for Carrollton. He's going to be probably the game 2 starter, so could be key for them to stay in that series. He was up to 88 the other night. Needs to fill up the zone. It's going to be the biggest thing for him. If he can throw strikes and get outs early, I think this team can stay in it late. Yeah. So I think that's going to be key for them in that game 2 matchup for them as well.
Yeah, and then Parkview Hillgrove matching up. I like this matchup. I didn't get to see Hillgrove this year. I know you guys did. Guys like Gavin Boykin stepping up, Avery Wilson, steady center fielder for them in that lineup. Aiden Moore is going to be huge. We touched on him last week. Big arm for them. So
Tucker Bowen as well has been big for them. They got some young 27s that are stepping up. They're hitting at the right time.
Dylan and Jordan Walker, which he's 26.
Jordan Walker, exactly. Well, the Hicks brothers, they really do. We talked about them last week as well when we were really going over this. But yeah, big win for them in round 1. I mean, if you can beat Porter in game 1 in that series, then I think that you have a real good chance of really giving yourself a chance to win that series. But it just comes down to that. Obviously, Parkview is swinging it extremely well. Malachi is the hottest player in the state. I mean, it's safe to say that. So I think that's going to be a pretty fun one there. I'm excited to get out and see Parkview here soon as well. So that's going to be what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think that the pitching got a little bit tricky last week with the rain and everything. So hopefully it looks like we're going to get some true matchups without any interference with the rain and whatnot this week. So yeah, excited for that side of the bracket. Moving on, Harrison, West Forsyth. I think these teams match up really well with one another. I think you flip a coin. I think they're both going to throw strikes. They're both going to hit. I think it's going to come down to least amount of mistakes, least amount of walks, most amount of big hits in key situations. Just one of those really upper-class heavy matchups, I think. I know we saw Harrison early in the year. I don't think we touched in on them mid-year, but we did get to see West Forsyth a good bit. And the lineup hits. I think Delp had a pretty good series in game 1. Obviously, you got Sweat, the Meehan brothers, and then they got arms on the mound. They're just going to – you know what you're going to get in those guys, which I think Harrison's pretty similar. Moving on, Walton, East Coweta. East Coweta and Tequila went 3 games. That was a matchup we kind of had our eyes on. Went to 3 games. Jared Glenn, big game 2, I believe, to get it even. And then Reeston Durham kind of exploded in that same game, right? Was that the game he hit 2 bombs?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So same thing there. I think they match up well. Walton had a big couple wins. Walker Killamette exploded. I just added him on playoff performers. I think he hit like over 700 in 2 games. Yeah, 714, 778 OBP, 3 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. So fun one there for him. You got Jackson Taylor. Logan Weidman has really burst onto the scene.
Ridiculous year he had, man.
I like that matchup there. Both experienced two of the really well coached teams in the state in both those guys. So that's another one I think it's going to be a tough draw there.
And I think East Coweta came back in both of their wins in that series from being down in the game. So
good call.
riding some momentum there after coming back to win some big games and move on. So obviously I think that's at Walton that game. I believe it might actually be at East Coweta as the 1 seed.
See that. I think so. I had it pulled up right here.
Yeah, it's at East Coweta. Okay.
So that changes things.
Getting that at home. Different environment there for that team. Obviously, the coaches have been there, I believe, 20 plus years. So, like you mentioned, a well-coached team, know what it takes to win in these Georgia playoffs. So, I think it's going to be key facing a team like Walton, who's seemingly always in the Sweet 16 every year.
Yeah, no doubt. Moving on, last little bracket here, McKeesher North Gwinnett. We talked about it. We don't think we're going to get the mega matchup. Autry, if you're listening, Moidy, if you're listening, let's just go head to head. Let's go Chubb versus Hall, game 1. I'm kidding, but yeah, fun matchup there. North Gwinnett, Forsyth Central kind of made some noise in game 1, and then North Gwinnett kind of got rolling in game 2 and got the sweep there, but. I know you're really excited for that matchup, Ian. And I don't know what you've decided yet, but I know that one's tugging at you. But 2 teams that you haven't got to see Ryan Hall yet. It's been really good. I got to see him early in the year. Obviously, you've seen Chubb quite a bit. But yeah, what you got on that one?
It's tough, man. That's a good one. Obviously, that North Gwinnett team has a ton of upper class talent that's really stepped up in a big. I think Sanford Halcombe had two home runs in game 1 in that one.
Yeah, I did see that.
Big for that. Chubb, like you mentioned, had a massive game 1 and a huge Newton series. I mean, that Newton team is game. They'll come out and play. They have good pitching at the top. They have a lineup that hits, and to strike out 13 and a complete game for him is huge. It gives him a ton of confidence going into this matchup. I think Ryan Hall pitched really well in his matchup as well, up to 95 again, I believe I saw. So that's huge for him, and we could have a couple of 95-plus arms in a matchup. Is pretty insane to see. In the Sweet 16, it's a pretty electric matchup. That McKeitron team is extremely young, like we've mentioned a ton, but they have some senior leadership, some upper-class guys like behind the plate and George Stokes, a junior, who really kind of does it all for them, offers a great glove behind the plate as well. So, I mean, I think they have a chance. I think they're going to go back and forth. Whatever game we see these top arms go, they're going to have a chance to win. So I think it all comes down to that. Some timely hitting. Malachi Butler has been hot at the right time. Like I mentioned, Sanford Halcombe, some other guys in that lineup. Ian Gaskill as well, hitting really well at the right time. So, man, that's a fun one for me, and it's on my short list of places to be on Tuesday, where I'm trying to put one arm and one leg in one place, and just see if I can get content everywhere at once, But I don't think that's going to happen. But it's literally what I think about as I lay down at night. And that's just how much I enjoy this part of the year, and caring about being at the right places for y'all. So
no doubt,
it fires me up, man. I'm juiced.
Yeah, and this next one is one for me. I think I'm probably most excited for. I think North Paulding is running into everybody with Tiff. That game went 3 games that we were kind of expecting. John Davis shoved in game 1. I think Yemley shoved in game 2, and then North Paulding's bats just got hot in game 3. So they match up with a Buford team, like we mentioned, lineups there. You got Dexter on the mound. You got Burton on the mound. And then one more senior that's really stepped up for him on the mound as well. But you got guys like Kane Golden leading that squad. He's hungry to keep this thing rolling in the playoffs in his final season at Buford. But same thing with North Paulding. You got guys like Jones and Yinley and some guys that are really – really hungry to get back in deep into the playoffs this year. So I think that one's the same way. I think the offenses are both pretty powerful. I think they both have the arms to beat one another. yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on that one. Hoping we're able to get out of that one. Not sure if we will or not yet, but be on the lookout for some of those Buford young guys being key, getting some big hits. The Ryan Johanssons, Carson Reeves mixes into the lineup in the bottom half. Look for guys like that, Leo, obviously, and Dexter. But keep an eye on some of those young guys to get some big hits for Buford. Anything else, Avery? Any of these you're kind of eyeing? Any key matchups? Obviously, you touched on Brookwood, Grayson.
Mm-hmm. I like the Parkview Hillgrove one.
That one's fun for sure. No doubt. All right, moving along to 5A. Just starting off at the top. Winder Barrow comes out with a big 3-game series win against Coffee. They ended up they won game 1, right? So they beat Strickland, which is a huge win for them. Cam Hodge, obviously, he's in there. He back. Ian, have you seen? Is he back from being hurt?
He is back. Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
He was swinging last week as well.
So, yeah, with the way they're playing, I like their matchup against Effingham County. Effingham County has our guy, what's his name? Was down at Southern. Oh, Jaquez King leading the way for them. Pretty athletic, dual sport guy at the top of the order for them. They can really run. So, good matchup there. That's definitely an intriguing one. Winder Barrow has to go down there, I believe, Effingham being the 1 seed. So, that obviously mixes things up a bit. But keep an eye on Winder Barrow, especially coming off that win against a pretty good Coffee squad there. Moving to this next one, I think this is a really good matchup. River Ridge, Dunwoody. River Ridge was a team, we kind of had an eye on coming into this bracket, but Dunwoody has guys like Matt Perch and who else? Ian Spencer left off, Michael Gregozeski, a couple others. So I think they match up well with this River Ridge squad, but
Ryan Davies has been huge for them on the mound. He had a complete game shutout in game 1 for them this last week. They won it. They swept last week without Perch throwing, so that was huge for them.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
So that's big for them. I think he had 10 Ks in the shutout, so that was awesome. I mean, he showed well when I saw him against Lakeside. So if him pitching well in these big matchups down the road is only going to be big for them, and to give them a 1-2 punch with that lineup hitting at the right time could be scary for that bracket. That's seemingly, like we've talked about, a winnable quad there to make it to the Final Four. So if they get hot at the right time as a 1 seed, like they've done all year, I think they have a chance to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And sliding on down to the bottom, we have, I think, our first 3 seed over 2 seed win. Habersham Central comes through and gets the win in game 3. Just added a couple big playoff performers for them. Big Mav went off. Where is it at? Yep. So Mav was 6. Maverick Chipwood, that is 6 for 12, 3 singles, a double, a triple, a go-ahead home run in the 7th. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs, a stolen base, and he also went 2-0 on the mound. 8 innings pitched in 2 games, and with no earned runs and 4 hits given up. So shout out Mav there.
He pitched in 2 games. I know he went complete in game 2 to get comeback.
And he came in for the inning to get the win.
What a savage. Love to hear that. Big win there for them. Obviously that was a competitive matchup, so that's a huge win to move.
Yeah, and it's definitely a good matchup. They just got Spencer Frady back, who had been a catcher that had been hurt for like the last 7 or 8 weeks, and he actually went 3 for 4 in game 2 with a walk-off double, and he threw a guy out of the dish. So that's a huge addition for them. Ethan Wheeler, a guy that we were really high on in the fall. We got to see it preseason All-State. He went 5 for 11 through 6 innings on the mound and got the dub as well. And then Callum Spivey, 3 for 7. Including 3-run game-winning home run in the 8th in Game 3. So good stuff there from Habersham Central. That was a team that I got to see this year that I really liked. Having guys like Mav and Ethan Wheeler and a couple other older guys in the mix, pretty well coached as well. So keep an eye on them. I think they got a shot against this South Paulding team. Obviously beating a pretty good Glen Academy team, but a Dominic on the mound. Not sure if Mav will go game 1 against him, but lineup-wise, I see them matching up pretty well with South Paulding. So definitely keep an eye on that game.
Yeah, that's a good one there. I mean, I think that bottom half of the bracket is going to be really big as well with Lassiter and Noonan.
That one's tearing you with McDowell.
And I think there's a chance. Yeah, with that pitching matchup potentially with Darryl McDowell and Hayes McGinnis is probably like one of the better matchups we're going to have in this Sweet 16. If they go against each other, you never know. But we get double headers on game one, so you'll see them both. So. That's one that I'm really sticking to. Obviously, the Lassiter-Roswell series went 3. Obviously, they got a huge start in Game 3 from Keegan Lodwick, a guy I saw come in relief a couple weeks ago against Pope, a freshman. Through 4 2/3. I think he gave up 2 earned, 3 or 4 strikeouts, but just big innings for them in a big spot. Obviously, a must-win game, win or go home. And you come out there and your first ever playoff start, and you get a win over a really good. Roswell team that I know you, Avery, saw a little bit this year with some bats that really can swing it, like Trey Smith and at shortstop. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge win for Lassiter. Noonan had a really good sweep in their first series. Hayes McGinnis had a great start, 12 Ks over 7, swung it really well as well. Dax Kilby's been big. Cole Gilmore has been huge for them as well. So, they're swinging it right. They have the team to finally make a run. They've been really good these last few years and haven't really put it together in the playoffs. And I think it's a chance for them to really do it this year, and starts with probably in this next series against Lassiter.
Yeah, definitely. And it's hard to bet against kids like McGinnis and I mean even McDowell, but like we talked about, with KT, like some of these athletes that you find in the playoffs, like they live for this stuff. I know everybody does, but you just get that extra little push from guys like McGinnis, KT, some of these dual sport guys that really want to compete. Moving up, Northgate, Pope. Northgate is, I know I mentioned it in the past, but this is a young team that's going to be really good in the years to come. They're going to match up well with Noonan in that region the next couple of years. Got guys like Sam Lowe. Hunter Holstrom is a lefty that I really, really liked when I got to see them against Noonan. So obviously running up against Pope is what it is there. You just got to see what you can do. But definitely like that squad moving forward. So we'll see what they can do with the good old Greyhounds. Moving down to this Brunswick, Hoko. Really like this matchup. Our South Georgia guy is going to be over there to check in on Brett Hickson and some of those guys with Brunswick. But beat a really good Villa Rica team, man. That Villa Rica team plays good baseball. They play clean baseball. They don't make errors. They take their walks. They get timely hitting. They have a senior leading the way for them on the mound. They got guys like Henry Brookshire that's just going to get it done in the middle of the order. But yeah, coming off of a big win, in my opinion. Unfortunately, didn't get down to see them in the regular season, but excited to see them against Hoko.
Yeah, shout out to Trenton Robinson, junior righty for them. Had a shutout in game 1 against it, like you mentioned that Villa Rica team that's really
tough to shut out that team.
Yeah, they can really hit, man. I saw them barrel up 90 plus. You've seen them hit really well as well. And to shut out that team 1-0 and against on the road when you're on the road, as an underdog,
6 hours away, 7 hours
6
away,
hours away from your house. And you go in there and you pitch a complete game show. I think he gave up 3 hits, no walks, struck out 7. So. I mean, that's as good as it gets from him. So that gives him a ton of confidence. I've been talking about confidence a lot on these playoff episodes, but it's huge at this time of the year and to roll with it now. Momentum is, the biggest thing. That regular season doesn't matter at this point. So it's all about the momentum you carry now and what you can do to finish the year. So a big win for him. You get hot at the right time. You can do it. And with the big upset victory to start, you roll into Hoko with some confidence and some momentum and chance to give him a fight over 3 games potentially.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have to get our guy over there at freaking 11 a.m. to get one of those chairs. And at the good old Hoko, they're like 6 rows deep in lawn chairs. Moving on, Avery, what you got on the Grizzlies? Grizzlies get the big, upset as the 4 seed over Johns Creek. We kind of talked about it coming in. Like they got the draw that I think they wanted. I would rather be playing in this side than the other side with River Ridge. But yeah, what you got on the Grizzlies? I know you didn't get to see them this year, but obviously know those guys. So what's it going to take to get past this Woodward squad?
They've got the arms to do it.
Exactly. Yep.
They can have some guys step up with the bats behind Jackson Stanley and who else do they have?
Brody Carter. Yep. And Hudson Stanley's in the lineup now, freshman, junior, future gamer for us, Jackson's little brother. So he's been good for him. He can run into one at any time. I think he's hit his first varsity bomb, halfway through the season. So, but like you mentioned, it's the pitching for them that's going to keep them rolling. They just need some timely hitting. Penrod brothers need to get rolling. Chris Thoreau's in there. Jackson Shirley's a big piece at the bottom of that order. But look for guys like Garrett Ray and Natowski. Who else? Neil Stam, PJ Fitzpatrick. So look for them to match up well with this Woodward squad. We like their bats, the Woodward bats. Ian, I know you got to see it.
Carson Ray's getting hot at the right time. Had home runs in back-to-back games to really clinch that series for them over a game. McIntosh squad in round one. Obviously, Miles Tate had a ridiculous year as a freshman. I believe he hit like 430 or something and playing all through that lineup. If he can get hot at the right time, it's a monster power bat for them as well. Yeah, it's deep. There's a ton of bats that outside of those two, let me just bring up some of the guys that have really stood out for this team.
Chance Dixon can never.
Chance has been good at the top. He's obviously going to get on, a switch hitter, going to hit from both sides. Sorry not to have more guys on the top of my head here. It's been a lot of teams and a lot of days here. But, yeah, I like the Woodward team. I like this matchup. On paper, you'd like to see two teams that really stack up well against each other.
Yeah, and I think that Creekview was the kind of the biggest, quote-unquote upset we've seen so far. Like you said, playoff momentum, there's nothing like it. So we'll see what the old Grizzlies can do.
I think it's a key opposite with both those teams. Obviously, if Woodward can
offense get versus pitching.
Yeah, offense versus pitching, I think it's going to be polar opposites in that one. But, yeah, whoever really comes out on top is going to really have a big matchup. I mean, obviously, with this Greenbrier, Loganville at the bottom, whoever wins that, that's a tough one.
So. Yeah, it gives me flashbacks to Creekview Loganville back in 2014. So yeah, Greenbrier matches up well. Tripp Fowler had a huge start on the mound in game one or in the first series for them against Kennesaw Mountain. So yeah, it's just hard to bet against that Loganville squad with the lineup, the bats that they have in there with Caden Howell, Aiden Gorvet, Boland, Jordan Johnson. It's just like. It's Loganville. It's exactly what it is. And we'll see what Greenbrier can do traveling up here.
They're inevitable. Like I mentioned in the recap article, they're just like it. Whether it's whatever classification they're in, if they get moved around, they're inevitable at this time of the year. We've talked about it 2-3 peats in the last 10 years.
No doubt.
You don't do by accident, No. So.
And mentioning that, guys, be sure to check out that 6A to 4A recap article. We put a little bit of time on it. We did a couple big write-ups from the games we were at, but then we also just touched on each quad in each bracket. So be sure to check that out. We posted it on Twitter. It's on the site as well in the news tab. So be sure to check that out. Moving on to 4A, some good stuff here. Like we mentioned, Kell and Central, it's going to be a fun matchup, I think. I think those two match up really well. We'll get ahead of ourselves. But Flowery Branch, Wayne County. This Wayne County squad been playing great all year. Was a team that we got to see up at Georgia Dugout Club. Avery, you saw that big arm, and Eli Grantham. Guys like Jeb Craven. I know Cohen Tyre. I don't know if he's gotten in the mix or not on the mound or not, but that's a big arm. They could have Logan Scarborough. So look for a really competitive, well-coached team to play against a Flowery Branch squad traveling up here with guys like Ojeda. Who else? Am I missing?
Jackson Freeman.
Yep, Freeman, big bat, big catcher for them. So yeah, that'll be a good one. Kelver Central, I really like this matchup. It's hard to bet against this Central lineup. It's just, I don't know. It's just, you got to see it. It's, 4 or 5 freshmen mixed in there. It's just really fun. But I think this Kell team is kind of polar opposite. You got guys like Zachary Simmons leading the way from them, but you also have a 27 in Evan Brand that can really swing it. So, Ian, I know you saw them a little bit more.
I enjoy that Kell team. Obviously, those two are going to be huge, whether it's at the plate or on the mound. They're going to be big, probably going to be game 1-2 starters for them going into the playoffs. I think having them, if they get, I can't say his last name, that Caleb Narrissi back.
Yeah, quarterback.
Quarterback for them, been out with injury. Yeah. I don't know if he's returned yet, but if they get him back for the stretch run, let me see if I can find it here. That'll be huge for them. Obviously, with a first round playoff win, it's going to be big. You face a team with some freshmen, you feel like you you can have some confidence going into that. Obviously, the Central team's a different squad. They're not your normal freshman led team that cannot hit and
it's
things like that. But
I down 3-1, like I knew Charlie had been shoving, but just the way the situation of the game was, it was a team that you can't count out at any point. It's just one of those teams you get that feeling about that you get a walk, you get a dink, and then a base hit, and next thing you know, you're back in it. So that's kind of what happened in that one. But yeah, I think that's
Preston Bottoms. That's one name that I want to stick out. Another 27 for Kel as well.
They got Honeyman
as well. And like I just saw, Caleb came back and threw 2/3 of an inning in game 2. So that's good to see. He's back on the mound throwing in some capacity. So having that option out of the pen for them going down the stretch is going to be massive, and it's going to be huge in this Central series. That has a chance to go 3 games. Central has the arms to match up. So I think it's a chance to be competitive all the way through. So getting a power arm like that to have in a situational hit and a situation would be massive.
Yeah. Moving on to this next one, I think this is probably one of the more – I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say that. I mean, one of the more competitive with 4 teams in this quad. Like you got a Stars Mill team that's crazy experienced. You got a Carsville team that's crazy experienced. And then you kind of get a St. Pius and East Forsyth that is kind of a mix of a little bit of everything. They have the senior arms, they have the young bats, but shout out to Grant Barden for East Forsyth pitching an 8-inning shutout with 17 Ks in their round 1 victory. So that was a team that we kind of had circled in our 4A preview, and they did end up getting the sweep over Union Grove. So they match up against the St. Pius team. Ian, I know you really like guys like Michael D, Mikhail Stevenson, Bobby Frierson, Wesley Ingham. So the list kind of goes on there, but I think it's a good matchup. It's definitely going to be arm centric. I think that obviously they're going to have to beat you, but matches up really well from kind of across the board.
Yeah, sophomore Nolan Newsham has been stepping up huge for St. Pius as well. He's been batting in the lead off spot a lot. Sorry, I can't speak this evening. And shout out to Colton Sumter, a guy that me and Avery both saw this year, and got the game 1 start against Connor Langdon in Perry this past week in the first round, and then pulled out the victory. Obviously, that's going to be a big matchup. You're facing a power lefty on the arm, so you want to get out and have some confidence facing another huge arm on the mound. And to get that victory is big. Obviously, they have Mikhail in game 2, who shoved in a big. I think they run rule victory in that one, but. Obviously, that team's experienced. The bats can swing it as well as anybody. They get a home matchup against a good team in East Forsyth, so that's going to be big playing in their ballpark. The environment's pretty good there. Sorry for my speaking. I feel like I'm fumbling on every word here, but yeah. Shout out to St. Pius. I think they have a shot to win it all in 4A this year. They have this is the year to do it. They've been hot all year round. If the bats can stay hot and can continue to hit at the right time, it's going to be a difference maker going forward and against this East Forsyth team. Like you mentioned, the Barden brothers are going to pitch their asses off, and they're going to be in it every game. Mikhail Moon at the top is going to hit and get on base and run. So it's going to be a fun matchup, man.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure. And moving on to this next one, like these are 2 teams I wouldn't want to run into in the playoffs. You know, if I'm like a Central or a Kale, somebody like that, it's just like Carsville, Stars Mill. They're household names that we know are going to be in the mix, and they're facing each other in the Sweet 16. Stars Mill had like probably one of the toughest runs to finish region in that really tough region. Avery, I know you saw a lot of that region, but man, they match up really well. You didn't get to see Stars Mill though. You saw Northside Harris County, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ian saw Stars Mill, but they match up really well. Purdy is swinging a hot bat right now. You got guys like Nate Russell that's doing really well on the mound, and then you get some experience from Shiflett and Purdy as well. So awesome matchup in my opinion. One of the bigger ones in the state in my opinion, just from name household name type perspective. But I know you touched on the Stars Mill squad a little bit last week, but any like major key points in that one? I know you saw Carsville recently too. You're going to get 3 upper class arms with some young guys mixed in the lineup, but what you got?
Yeah, I think that pitching depth for Cartersville is going to be a difference maker.
It's hard
to beat those 3 guys, and then behind that you have guys like Logan Shrewsbury and Maddox Frazier, who are both upper 80s arms as well, that can be starters, but are massive power arms. They now are in the bullpen for this team. Obviously, Andrew Purdy can be huge in either role, whether it's a starter or closer. He's been starting a lot lately, striking a ton of guys out. The fastball's been up to 91. And the bat's probably the hottest bat outside of Malachi, maybe the hottest bat in the state right now. So, yeah, I think that team is hot. They get that matchup with Stars Mill. Obviously, the duo of Rudolph and Brock Rain to the top can match up in games 1 and 2. But if it goes to 3, I think the depth for Cartersville is going to give that team problems. But it just has to be at that point, and then it can go any different way than when you get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree on that one for sure. Moving up top right, Avery, I'll let you kick off. Obviously, we got BT. We know what's going on there. What you got? I know you might have touched on it a little bit one of the prior weeks, but what you got on this Northside team?
Yeah, they're really well coached. They're going to take their walks, timely hits kind of thing, and they don't make it. They're really clean in the field as well. And then wanted to touch on Javion Windham for them, shortstop. Kind of sets a tone at the top of the order, kind of gets things rolling for them as well. Just a gritty group.
Yeah, definitely. And it says a lot in that region that they're in. We touched on it in our previews and in our recaps, but just Stars Mill, Central, Northside, and Harris County, all 4 of those teams moving on to the Sweet 16. So it says a lot about that region. You know, they match up pretty well against each other, similar type teams. Stars Mill ended up kind of getting the upper hand against all those guys just with some of their young talent, in my opinion. With, Northside, Harris, Central young talent, and Stars Mill, being so experienced. But yeah, obviously have a tall task in Blessed Trinity. Moving on down, Marist, Walnut Grove. Walnut Grove with a pretty big upset. We touched on this series in our preview as well. We kind of had a feeling with this one. I really like the Oval lineup. You have Braden Poran that shoved in game 1, who's been shoving all year. But at the same time, you match up with a Walnut Grove team that has 2 big arms in Sam Martell and Branson Blaylock, and a scrappy lineup that can score runs with guys like Davis Hunt, Gary Staffens Jr., and so forth for those guys. But shout out to the Walnut Grove group. Really big win for Coach Allen and those guys, well coached, matching up against a red-hot Marist team. So, yeah, tall task, obviously, with Marist. But anything you saw with Marist, Ian? I know the lineup's there. Is it just going to be the consistency on the mound for them to keep it moving?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, with Fison's at the top and then David Albert behind him gives you a 1-2 that can really get you a win any night. Obviously,
then you just roll Richardson out there game 3.
Yeah, you can roll Richardson in game 3, or if you need him in a situational pitch late in the game, game 2 or game 1, it's big for them at 89-91 with a really good slider. So, I mean, those 3 guys give you a chance to win. The lineup's as deep as you're going to find in 4A. It reminds me a lot of the same kind of depth as the Stars Mills team had in their state championship run last year. Guys like Noah Garrick and Jack Hubert are just like guys you don't talk about a ton, but can go off at any moment and hit a bomb, probably at any time. John Loudon's been big for them as well. Richardson, Sheelar, the list kind of goes on. Jack Simmons coming through with big hits as well. We talked about Roshan Bullard as well. So, that's 1 through 9 I just mentioned. So, it's really nowhere to pitch around in that lineup, and they continue to hit in big spots. Obviously, you look forward to that matchup next round potentially. But getting past a team like Walnut Grove is going to be no easy task here.
And a 4 seed beating a big 1 seed that's only lost a couple games on the year, like we said, nothing like that type of momentum. All right, moving along. We're only on 4A, almost at an hour. We're going to get this thing rolling.
2,000 people here, most we've ever had, and we're over here just dragging,
Yeah, Avery, you need to give Harris County boys any shout-outs. Dimitri, Cousins, Caden, Will.
I think they had some pretty big pitching performances by their freshmen. JT Perkle, I think, went game 1 for them, and then Caden Dimitri game 2, and they got a series sweep there.
Yeah.
Kind of a tough draw without good pace. They're pretty fired up for it.
Yeah, good pace squad as well. So, obviously, you run into Altoona with guys like Cooper Underwood, Cruz Paul, super experienced. Coach Hansen knows how to win ball games over there. But, yeah.
Shout out to Cooper on yet another no-hitter on his ridiculous spring that he's put together. Yeah, I think
unreal. Awesome.
14 Ks, and against in a playoff game. I think it was the first playoff no-hitter in Altoona history. I think I saw online.
I saw that.
So he just keeps stacking the accolades this spring. So I know he's
Keep in mind, guys, Clark Schmidt was at Altoona as well. The Grizzlies did beat them in the first round one year when we were the 4 seed. We'll throw that out there. But, yeah, having guys like Clark Schmidt, what's the other dude's name? He was in the minor leagues for the Marlins a bit. So, I can't remember his name. Anyways, good. Well done, Coop. Good stuff there.
Yeah.
So, tough squad to roll in against Altoona, but really well coached at Harris County, young group that's really hungry. So that's going to be a fun matchup for sure. Moving on down, Ware County, North Oconee. I think they match up pretty well. Our guy we had in South Georgia, from the teams that he saw down there, Ware County was kind of one of the more put together ones. Obviously, they end up, getting swept by Wayne County to end the year, but then bounce back against Druid Hills and get the win there. So need guys like Noah Allen, Ryan Trout, Hassan. You need guys like that to step up for them to get rolling.
Had a huge outing in round 1. I think
nice, future gamer for us.
Over 5, just committed to Kennesaw State pretty recently as well. That's a lineup that can get hot as well. A ton of bats that can hit for power and average in that lineup. So if they can start swinging it with that pitching that they have, we talked about Ryan Trout last week. He came in and got a few innings in this one, struck out 6 over 3, 1 earned in the game 1 win, which was a close one. Went back and forth in a 6-5 win. So having him pitch well in a close game is big for them. Ben Morris as well to have to close it down. Having an experienced closer as well is huge. Sure. Obviously, these teams that have that can obviously have a big win. I think last year Harlem had I can't remember his name, but they had a stopper at the back of the pen that really came through massive all year round. And obviously carried him to a state championship. So
and I think that's a similar, Cartersville Stars Mill type matchup. Ware and North Oconee were 2 teams that kind of hung out at the top of our power rankings all year as well. So that's a big one in the second round. So moving along, 3A, a lot of exciting stuff here. Obviously you start with Harlem, Whitewater. We talked about Whitewater last week, Trent Ellington, Trey Robbins, guys like that. They want to keep this thing rolling. Harlem runs into, a team that they haven't seen in this season. So be on the lookout for that one there. LaGrange versus Pickens. I think this is one of the bigger ones in this Sweet 16 for this classification. Obviously, you got AJ Rice, the front lines for them, which you feel really good about, but a really well coached LaGrange group. You got guys like Sinjin Lash, who else? Caden Wood, a couple other guys for them, but I think they match up pretty well with one another. Pickens, swinging one of the hotter lineups. Bats are really hot, like you mentioned. Everybody was pretty much batting over 300, I think.
Yeah, I think over 330. I think they finished the regular season with the entire 1 through 9 hitting over 330. Obviously, playing in 3A, you're going to see some good competition every night. Not the same as 6A, but the competition's going to be good. They just continue to hit everything they saw, and obviously having AJ at the top. And then, like I mentioned last week, Christian Starks has been also huge for them in the SP2 role.
I was about to say that too. Like, I like a guy like that either to win a series or to get even. It's the competitive type kid that it's going to come out in that moment. So I like Starks in that role. They're playing to win each game, and then they rely on the lineup for game 3 if they need to. So good matchup there, man. Ocoee County Jefferson. You saw this matchup right already?
Yeah.
How did that match up?
Yeah, it's well. I think it's going to come down to that game 1. Obviously. If Eston comes out there and throws a gem in game 1 and Jefferson takes that 1-0 lead over Oconee County, I think they have a chance to pull out a big upset in this series. Obviously, that's what it's going to take is a huge game 1 victory, a big outing from him on the mound. The lineup can get hot at the right time. Obviously, guys like Eli Prim and Steven Tavares who can really swing it as well, and they have some depth behind that. So. But that Oconee County team is deep. They have some senior leadership with Isaac Smith and obviously Cole Johnson, Carson Fox at the top is going to be big, whether it's at second base or probably starting on the mound in game 1 for them as well. Some sophomores at the corners as well that have been huge. William Rusatek that we talked about a few times in the show as well. So it's a really good team. They obviously came in as a 1 seed, I believe, or maybe a 2 seed in that region. But yeah, I think it's a good matchup.
I think they were one because they got Bluff. They beat Bluff.
One. But yeah, they know each other. Played in the same region all year round. They played a lot of the same teams. Obviously, the scouting reports for the coaching staffs for both will be extensive. So I think it's going to take the little things to win. Big pitching, big hits at the right time. Obviously, you need that in the playoffs. I mean, the bare minimum. But I think, but you know what you're going to get in this matchup, and I think it's going to come down to that game one for sure.
Yeah. This next one, I think these two teams match up really well against each other. Well coached, kind of scrappy, quote unquote scrappy lineups from both of them. I think it's going to come down to who pitches. But I think that they match up pretty well. Davis Munkus is a big name for Troop. Kind of does it all for them. Left-handed bat, left-handed arm on the mound, sophomore for them. So look for those two teams to go get 3 games, in my opinion, with the lineup, scrappiness of the lineup, high scoring. Dawson has guys like why am I blanking? Their game one guy,
Jackson
sophomore.
Rickett. Oh
no, Rickett's hitting at the top. My fault. I'm blanking. I'll come back to that. But yeah, I think they match up pretty well. The reason I mentioned him is he has been throwing some shutdown games early in those 3-game series for them. So going to come down to, I think game one's going to be really big either side there. So I think that's a good matchup between those two guys. Moving on to North Hall Heritage, you're kind of looking at this North Hall Cherokee Bluff matchup. I don't know a whole lot about Northwest Whitfield, a team that we did not get to see. Heritage does have some guys we know. Cohen Fletcher was almost Player of the Week, or did get Player of the Week. I think he did get it 1 week. But keep an eye out for him. He's been swinging it really well, sophomore, matching up against a big North Hall squad. Let's see. I did have some playoff performers from North Hall. Big Branton went 7 innings of shutout ball, 3 hits, 12 Ks, and went 3 for 6 at the dish. Senior Micah Jimerson is doing it all for him. 3 innings on the mound, 6 Ks, 2 hits, no runs, 1 for 1, 2-run home run in that sweep over Richmond Academy. So really well coached group there. Same thing with Bluff, Northwest Whitfield. I think it's just going to come down to pitching. I think that both these teams have big arms or big bats. It's just going to be who pitches it, which is a pretty big name of the game. Moving on down this last Class 3A bracket, you got Upson Lee and Mary Persons. Mary Persons is coming off, kind of an upset. I kind of, had a feeling on them coming in. Having Chrisman back is big for them. They have some pieces in the lineup. They're going to, produce some runs against the Upson Lee team we haven't got to see much of. So look out for them to sneak into the Elite 8 potentially. Bainbridge versus Peach County. I think we're going to try to sneak over to that one. Hard to bet against Peach County when you got guys like Jackson Peavy, Scout Willingham, DJ Hudson. I think I saw he stole some crazy amount of bags, like 70 or something. I need to look it up, but it was like something crazy. It was like broke a record. But they got a good squad over there. Caden Thompson there as well, and match up against Bainbridge. So obviously Peach County is going to be the favorite in that side of the bracket moving on, but could run into a really good squad in the Final Four. Moving on, 2A, 4 down, 4 to go. We'll kind of move a little bit quicker through these. Get ready to go for Monday, off day tomorrow, obviously, and then we'll get rolling on Tuesday. But Morgan County Ringgold, this is a good little matchup. We've seen a lot of Morgan County, hard to bet against guys like Ty Tillery, Hudson Reed on the mound. Ringgold as well. Wesley Blair, I saw he had a home run in their last series. Good arm for them. Anything you're keying in on Morgan County, Ian, or just let Ty Tillery do his thing?
Yeah, I think Ty's it's been as good as we've seen him probably ever. So getting him right at the right time has been huge. Obviously, he's fully healthy from the injuries. The velo's probably been the best we've ever seen it. He's swinging it well. We've talked about Hudson Reed, who's got a ridiculous amount of home runs this year and continues to change a game in one swing whenever he feels like it. Yeah. So having those two guys
on the air.
Yeah, so you can really just change the game with those two guys. They're a team that we talked about last week being really well together, playing from probably like 8U all the way up. It's a very senior and junior heavy squad. So they know each other really well. They haven't really made a deep playoff run with this team yet. So I think it's a team that's really ready to make a run at Morgan County. Obviously, Ringgold's a well-coached squad that we've talked about a lot. Aiden Whitaker at the top is going to get things done as well for them. So,
and our guy, I can't believe I'm blanking. Piedmont commit.
Yeah, Hickman.
Hickman,
Aiden Hickman, excuse me, not like Braden Hickman.
Yeah. You were throwing me off.
Yeah, I'm the one who that's wrong. There's too many Aidens, but yes. He's at the top. Hayden Fries as well has been really big for them at the top of the order. So I think it's a team they can really hit. They're going to give Morgan County a run for their money, but it's going to be a fun matchup there in 2A. I think it's a great way to start the Sweet 16 in that classification.
Yeah,
I think Wesley Blair will be big for them as well.
Yeah, I know. He was a big arm in this fall. We got to see him this fall into the summer. So we were trying to chase him down this spring and didn't get a chance to. But, yeah, I think he's going to be big as well. Moving on to Appling, Big Bray Brown had a big doubleheader for them, 3 for 5, single, a double, a triple with 6 RBIs, 3 run scores, and 2 steals. So good to see him back. I know he was, missed most of the season last year with that injury that he had. Got to see him at preseason All-State. So keep an eye on that Appling group. They're really well coached. I think that they could, that Morgan County, potentially Appling County, that could be a mega matchup in the Elite Eight. So moving down, Bert.
I think they have Dason Griffiths back in some capacity at the back end.
Yeah, that's big.
The back end of the bullpen for them. So having that power arm there, whether he's starting or relieving, is huge for them. He can close the game out, whether it's multi-innings or a one-inning role as well. So having that power arm to add to that lineup is huge for them. So especially in 2A.
Yep. We got Burke County, Franklin County. Obviously, Franklin's been playing some good ball. We got to see them a couple times this year. Got Ty Peoples, Lucas Beasley. Good squad there. So look out for that matchup. Stevens County versus Redan. Didn't get a chance to see Redan this year. Avery, I know you touched on Stevens County's a bit last week. What's it looking like on the mound for them? Who'd you get to see?
Oh, it was a lefty, Connor Loudermilk. I think he's either a junior or senior, but he's mid-80s, fills it up. Pretty solid arm for them. Yeah,
and Redan's going to get on base. They're going to produce some runs, so I think that's a pretty good Sweet 16 matchup in this classification too. Pierce County versus Cook, running into Crisp versus Columbus. Sonoraville, Griffin Long had a heck of a performance in game 1, ended up losing 2-1. How many did he strike out, Ian? 17?
17, yeah.
Yeah, so good for him there.
Way to finish his junior season heading into the summer. Obviously, you don't want to end up with the loss, but
Hudson Kidman had a big week or big series as well. Where's his at? I had him on here. A couple home runs. I haven't got all his stats on here yet. But yeah, both of them had big performances. Moving on down, Callaway. Blake Harrington, CG shutout, 2-hit, 9 Ks in that matchup versus Coahulla Creek. They match up against a Drew Charter squad. I like the lineup at Callaway. I got to see them last year. Avery, I know you got to see them a bit. So anything outside of Blake, who we got to see running out there for them?
Slade Hunt Jr. for them really fills it up.
Yeah,
gave him a chance against Stillery as well. So he'll be a big arm for them.
That's a good one for sure. Peeking on down Rockmart, Pike County. Rockmart kind of has to be the favorite on this side, probably just with the way they've been playing. And you got guys like Atkins and Trey Luke, and we kind of touched on them last week. But yeah, good matchup there. Pike County coming up to Rockmart. Moving on. I was trying to move things along because we could talk about this private classification forever.
We probably should have talked about this one first.
I know, dude. we won't slack on you guys. We'll talk about this one a little bit, and if we got to double back next week and give some more guys some love next week in the other brackets, we will. But
just the amount of good matchups we have in this Week 16, it is stupid. Obviously, you have teams like Prince Ave, Mount Paran, and Lubbock who all got a bye in the first round, and you now have an insane matchup with Paran and GAC and Trinity Christian Lovett and Christian Heritage and Prince Ave. Those are 3 massive matchups. North Cobb, Holy Innocents,
Kings Ridge,
Providence, Kings Ridge, Calvary,
They're all. I mean, literally, I would go to I would go to any of these games.
Savannah Christian scored 35 runs this weekend. So like that's, I mean, a lineup that we probably have to see.
Walker beats a good Fellowship Christian team. Shout out to them. I didn't even realize Fallman was hurt. Fallman usually keeps me posted on that stuff. I didn't realize they didn't have him on the mound. So I thought that was going to. Yeah,
he was big at the plate for them though. Like he was DHing for them all weekend. So had some big swings. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like we said, like all of these matchups are just so fun. NCC Holy Innocents. It's a pretty offensive heavy, both young teams, which is really fun. Providence Christian versus Kings Ridge.
At Holy Innocents is going to be stupid too. It's going to be
that stadium style. Kind of wraps around. You got guys down the line, so yeah, that will be really fun. Kings Ridge, Providence, both really hot lineups. Chip Gogorski and Lee Holt both had bombs this weekend.
There might be 50 runs scored in that series. And that might be a load number. I mean, I think they both scored double digits in their first round wins. So
yeah, so that should be fun.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see that one. Providence has some really good arms across the board, so it should be fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Kings Ridge. I think that's why they played the schedule that they played this year. With those non-region teams like North Gwinnett and Forsyth, they're ready. They want to see these bigger arms, in my opinion. So I think that'll match up really well.
Providence didn't even allow a run in their first round sweep.
5-0
and then 14-0. So big wins there.
Kings Ridge scored 23 runs.
It should be a good one there. So.
Yeah, we touched on that Whitfield-Padilla matchup, and it was 3-0, 1-0. Whitfield has a guy like Peyton Robideau that could be any of these teams in this bracket, but face off against a really battle-tested Calvary Day team. I'm assuming Quinn Johnson and Robideau will probably match up with each other unless, they try to throw off or do something crazy there. Moving on, love it.
Peyton went 7 innings, complete game, 1 hit.
Who did?
Peyton.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he shoved. And Colin Thomas kind of matched him. Did he go that game? I saw he threw well. He might have thrown game 2, but regardless, either 3 runs or 1-0. I think he might have threw game 2. But yeah, good stuff there. Love it. Trinity Christian, another mega matchup. Trinity Christian is super senior heavy with Stiltner and Ford and Logan Moss. Anything there, Avery? I know you just saw them against Landmark.
Yeah, Stiltner had 8 Ks, went the distance. I mean,
basketball's still disappearing into the other batter's box.
Yeah.
Dude, it's always been crazy spin, 2-seamer.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then there's Aiden Whitaker, 2025 uncommitted.
That's what got you.
See, dude, I knew there was an Aiden Whitaker on my mind, bro. I'm like, I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah, he's really hit for me in both looks. I've seen him this spring, and he kind of paces at the top of that order with TJ Ford as well. So they've really solid growth.
That one's gonna be fun. Walker Wesleyan.
Gotta come out of the wire, man.
Yeah, we had a guy over there for game 3 of that one, or no, doubleheader of that one. Got there, Wesleyan. I mean, you get McCollum on the front end there, and then you got guys like Carter Hayes, Knox Bingham, Bryce Gillis has been swinging it well. The Wright brothers are in there as well. So really tough lineup stacks up there. McCollum's little brother is in the mix on the mound. So really good matchup there. Touch on Savannah Christian, Mount Vernon. Savannah Christian scoring a bunch of runs. Mount Vernon well coached. Mix of young old talent playing really well together. What's the other sophomore that's been swinging it well for you, Avery? Bastick. We talked about him last week. Yep.
Really, really solid at shortstop as well.
Yeah, good
and
stuff
then
there.
The catcher for them, sophomore as well, Andrew Moran, I believe. He's probably one of the better defensive catchers I've seen this spring.
Nice. So, that helps. That's big, and that's big in the playoffs. Minimize pass balls, wild pitches, all that good stuff. So, and then this last one, I mean, GHC Mount Perrin, GHC has been out of different, obviously another region or a different class all year, playing teams like Pickens, Dawson County, North Hall, but square off with the Mount Perrin team that would probably do similar things in that region with those guys. Got Michael Verdette leading the way for them. Akapov, Landmesser in the lineup. who else? Will Hennessy. It's a pretty experienced lineup, but then you get guys like McCray, Ellis, younger guys in the mix that could end up being really big for them down the road if they push this to a 3 series, which I'm thinking it will be.
Yeah, and Denzel Watkins, like we talked about a lot, swinging a while. I think he had 2 home runs in the series again. Jacoby
Bowens, I think,
hit an absolute massive tank as well. We talked about these guys last week, and I think they may have been listening. So the swings were there this week, so that's gonna be a huge matchup. It's obviously on my short list for my Thursday destinations. I haven't been out and seen Perrin haven't seen Perrin this spring, so getting out and see them would be big. And obviously that JSC team was fun to watch. So excited for that one there.
Yeah, that one's really fun. This whole class, shout out to this private class. Even if you just made it in here, I think that's a big accomplishment. It's kind of crazy the way that it's all shaken up, but a lot of fun games going on here. Moving on, Class 1A, Division 1. Gordon Lee did get beat in Game 1, 2-1, so they bounced back against a Brantley County team. Slightly touched on it earlier, but that region with Brantley County and Thomasville is pretty strong, so they've played some good teams. So they'll face off against Ace Charter. You get Banks County, Washington County. I think, you might see a good series here. Avery, I know you saw Banks County. I know we talked about it a little bit. I know Sears is not pitching. Is everybody else healthy for them? Morrison and
Judd is down as well.
He is down. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they do have a freshman for them, Gatlin Green. It's kind of low 80s, upper 70s. He'll should be a good arm for them and just really set the tone.
Yeah, and they match up against a tough Washington County team with Ty Mobley, Ryland Jenkins. Obviously Ty Mobley's one of the better arms in the state, so obviously like that going against Banks in the second round. So moving on, Toombs County, Haralson County, both got I think sweeps there. Both sweeps there. Toombs County 8-1, 4-0. Haralson County 12-1, 2-0. The Vidalia series did go 3 games. We did, get to see some of these guys on this Vidalia team. Veer, Caden Ridge, Nance, pretty well coached. So they face off against a tough social circle team. So good matchup here, I think, in the second round for this class.
Yeah, I think we're looking forward to that one. Really potent lineups from both sides. I think they scored 30 runs over the 3 games. So obviously they're swinging it well. Social Circle scored, I think, 17 over 2. So bats are getting hot at the right time. I think it's going to just come down to who gets hot against good pitching. So that's
definitely. Yep. Next one we talked about Pepperell. Thomasville still have to play tomorrow. Man, I like this Bremen team. They have Aiden Price starting Game 1 for them, lefty, low 80s. He's going to fill it up. He's big at the dish for them as well.
Too many Aidens, guys. I'm trying to tell you. It's so hard to get confused, There's just so many guys, and I don't mean it any disrespect. So
just point that out there. Earlier, you did say Ian Gaskill. You did mean Ian Bicknell and Jake Gaskill.
Dude, you see what I'm trying to say? I'm doing my best. Even a fellow Ian, I'm getting wrong too, which is even worse.
I know.
So, don't kill me, guys. Especially if I see y'all this week. I promise.
Yes, it's so many names. We'd have 8 people on here if there was 8 people doing this thing for us. But it's a tight knit squad. We're going to as many games as we can. But back to Bremen, man. It's hard to bet against them with the 1-2 punch and Aiden Price and Carter Allen. I really like the lineup. Dylan Huey was a left-handed bat. I really liked at the top of the order for them. Slade Bishop is another one that can really hit. You got their QB1 playing 2B for them. I'm blanking on his name, but another really good bat in that lineup. Really well coached. Great environment. I'm not sure where that would be at. I guess it depends if Thomasville or Pepperell wins. But interesting setup. All grass infield over there. So it looks like it's like 400 feet. The bases are turf, and then everything else is grass. Home plate is turf as well. So interesting setup there. Really short fence, like up to your chest. So interesting setup there, but really good home stands, home stadium, a lot of fans there, big open section on the left-hand side. So it's a good playoff type atmosphere field to play at. Moving on, we got Fitzgerald and Bleckley County. We got a couple playoff performers. from Bluckley County, Clayton Beck, senior for them, went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 11 Ks for them. He's going to Andrew. Walker Boatwright is a guy we're going to get to see at the Lake Point Summer Open for us at the end of May. He had a walk-off home run, 4 for 6 with a home run, 5 runs scored, 5 RBIs. So really good uncommitted junior for them. And you got Bragan Cravey, obviously, over there. They can throw it from both sides, so that keeps you in the mix. A lot of innings can be ate up there by him. Next one here, I think this is one of the bigger matchups in this class. You got Model and Fannin. Fannin, scrappy group. We got to see them at Georgia Dugout Club. Hard to bet against this Model squad with Reese Grodman, Brantley Patch. The list kind of goes on for them. A lot of good defenders, a lot of good bats in there. Last one, I think, honestly, this is probably, in my opinion, the most competitive side of this bracket with Worth County and Jeff Davis. Worth County is a team that was in this, situation last year, made a deep run against Mount Parent. Got guys like Avery Kilcrease throwing it really well for them, mid to upper 80s arms, swinging it as well. Jeff Davis, we had a little check-in with them. I need to pull it up, but our South Georgia guy, got to see them a couple times this year. Really well put together squad. So keep an eye on that whole quad. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Last one here, Irwin County, Baconton. I think this whole quad is pretty mega. All 4 of these teams were in our top 20 or top 10 power rankings for this class pretty much all year. Wilcox has guys like Jake Howell and Johnny Nutt for them. So good 1-2 punch there. Baconton has Grayson White, catcher for them, swings it really well. Matches up against Irwin County with our guy. He is Irwin, right? We talked about this last week.
That Royal?
Yeah, that Royal. He's Irwin, right?
No.
Yeah. I get Clinch, Irwin, Charlton. I get all those confused. Moving on, you get Charlton, Pelham in there, and then Tryon versus ECI. Metter versus Crawford. I think this is a good matchup. Crawford, You just mentioned. Hammett put up some silly numbers.
Yeah, 8 RBIs, 3 home runs, 2 doubles on the week in the win. So big for him. Didn't have to pitch.
I hope he is pitching. He is pitching.
Yeah,
looks like.
I hope so too. Yeah, not sure on that one. That would be a big loss if he's not. But the way he's swinging it, he's going to be a massive impact. However it looks for that Crawford team, you face a Metter squad that's, I think, pulling it up with an upset there over Wheeler County. I could be sure, but I could be wrong on that. Let me see.
Let's see. They were 2 seed. Wheeler was 3 seed.
Okay, so now, but yeah, Metter team that I don't know much about this spring. Didn't get a chance to get down to see them, but obviously that's going to be a quality matchup. They're a quality squad every year.
Yeah, they played Prince Ave, Ruston's senior year. I got to see them in that matchup against Prince Ave. Well coached, good group. Couple, usually dual sport football guys over there as well. Rabun County, I mentioned that they had a bunch of their QB1 was their second baseman. Starting pitcher was their running back, I think. So a lot of dual sport guys.
Been a lot of that this year. Some big standouts. Thomas Stallworth was huge. QB1 for Hebron was their shortstop this year. Trey Smith, the guy we mentioned for Roswell, QB1 for them was big at short. So yeah, it's a big position and some big standouts across the state. Dual sport guys.
Always fun to see. Moving on, Seminole County, Lanier County. Good matchup there. Screven versus Bowden. And then we got Miller County versus LOA to finish that class out. So, a lot of good stuff. Just past 3,000 people. So,
baseball.
Our biggest – what am I doing? Yeah, there we go.
But to kick this off, I was like, wow, rude, man.
Biggest live stream to date, so a lot of fun.
I didn't expect it. I mean, granted, I was like, honestly, I didn't expect you guys wanted us to be here on Monday night. I mean, on Sunday night, regardless. I was like, we'll let the internet decide. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be Monday. And then I click on do my vote. It's like 91% Sunday. So I appreciate y'all voting.
Ready to listen.
Coming to listen. We've been on for an hour and a half, and the numbers haven't went down yet. It just keeps going up. So like. Shout out to that. I mean, everybody who continues to listen, continues to follow. Obviously, this is something we enjoy to do. So we mention that every week. But if we didn't mention it, I feel like it would be wrong to say it because I'm so fired up to do this.
Yeah,
people actually care about us doing it is crazy to me at this point.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Let's have a fun week. Obviously, Sweet 16 is huge. We're going to be everywhere, or as much as we can be. We're a small group, but we get after it. So you're going to see at least 10 to 15 games covered this upcoming week. And yeah, looking forward to it. I'm just excited to see everybody again.
Yeah, it's like we mentioned, this is going to be our last one, and we're really going to have to start making decisions for the Elite Eight.
I mean, next week, I really don't even look at the schedule yet because it's going to be
and we want to spread it out. Like we don't want to double up on guys. Obviously, we're going to have to. Obviously, when it finishes, just depends on that first round game. If we double up back in the Elite Eight, that type of thing. So we want to try to see guys we haven't seen this year too. As well. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Obviously, we saw you a bunch in the spring. We're kind of counting on you to make a run so we get to see you again later in the year. But yeah, good luck to everybody this week. Like we said, we're pulling for everybody, man. We're just talking baseball. We've seen a lot of games. We've seen a lot of players. So we'll make our final decisions for the good old Sweet 16. See where we're going to be at Tuesday. Should be 5 games Tuesday. We'll see what happens on Wednesday. We'll obviously be at the games 3s if there are, depending on how many there are. Thursday, same thing. Probably 5. I think we'll be 5 games on Thursday. So looking forward to that. Going to be a tough one to pick in that Thursday matchup with private and 2A and all that good stuff. So, keep us posted on those playoff performers.
My least favorite part of this time of year. Love the baseball, hate picking the games. Tough. It's the worst part.
Let us know playoff performers. We have a really good list here so far. We've dug through a few stats of some guys that we heard about or saw a video of to try to get you on here for this. But still got time to put it in if you want to DM us. Coaches, send me an email, whatever it may be, DM Ian. Y'all don't DM Avery, DM the Prep Baseball Georgia account. I'm just kidding, Avery. But yeah, we're excited to have Avery in the mix. He's doing a great job for us. I know you guys like seeing him out at games. He's a fun one to talk to before or after game, whatever it may be. He's setting up
standing in 3 inches of rain, hanging out with kids,
Y'all are going to get a call like, hey, there's a guy here 3.5 hours early before the game. Do you know anything about this? It's just Avery getting there.
The party coach is thinking I'm crazy, but
hey, you were there.
We taught you well, bro. That's how it's supposed to be. You can't miss.
It was that.
It paid off, right? Like you were there and you got some of the best content you've seen probably ever. I know you get
let's give him before we go, we'll give him some love.
$500K.
Yeah, let's see. IG, we got 132K on Pitts, over 6,000 likes. On Malachi, we got 253K, 15,000 likes. I did throw it up on TikTok. I got our TikTok back running.
Oh boy.
So I got it up.
Banging on TikTok.
Yeah, almost $500,000 on Malachi's for TikTok, and then 219K for Eli's on TikTok. So
yeah, just a slight
Ian has taught me well on the video.
I've had to set them up right. I think our content video wise is as good as it gets across the country.
We're getting the good angles.
We get the angles. We know we know where to be at the right time. Obviously, we want to see the best stuff, and it's not about the videos, obviously, but it pays off in the end for y'all, whether it's at the collegiate level or the professional level. Like it's crazy. Like when I first started doing this 2 years ago, I didn't realize a few years ago, it's been 10 now, but I didn't realize how much the Twitter video, that side of it is taken apart, but it's huge. There's so many dead periods now for these schools. They live off the shit. Excuse my language here, but they live off of it. But
just look at the bookmarks.
You look at the bookmarks. You talk to these college coordinators. I've had guys mention to me this is what gives me life in the time that I can't leave my area. When you're going out to see all these 27s that they can't talk to for 6 months, or these 20 uncommitted 26s, or these uncommitted 25s. These are guys they have no idea about. Maybe.
Yeah, I got one.
Now they know
on Friday. On Friday. Hey,
it happens.
Can you send me contact info?
Yeah, once a week, maybe twice a week. So we're going to bat for you guys. Obviously, it's all about your future. We're doing this just not for fun. Obviously, this is a career. But it's all about y'all. So like, it fires me up to see where you guys go from this, and I appreciate it again, man.
Yeah,
I say this every week, man. I feel like I
know
a broken record with this kind of stuff, but it's cool.
No, it's part of it. It's part of it. Like, seeing the guys commit and then following guys into the next level is the biggest thing for me. And finally, with these 25s, is like we've talked about, the first class I've been able to see through. So like seeing these 25s next year, like I'm gonna have everybody's like stats pulled up, like keeping tabs of hundreds of 25s that we got to see. And obviously we're just getting rolling with the 28s, 27s, 26s. So yeah. A lot of fun stuff here. Thanks for hanging out with us for an hour and a half, guys.
Hour and a half, boys. I appreciate you.
Shout out Avery. Avery been back with us last couple of weeks. We'll keep him in the mix in playoff time. He's grinding. He was the only one out at the game on Saturday, so he went and caught that big Game 3 matchup. So
yeah,
he's killing it. Be sure to say what's up. We'll see you guys out at the field on Tuesday. Good luck, Sweet 16. Playoff performers, let us know. Without that, we'll see you guys Tuesday.
Talk to y'all soon.
Let's have a week.
I know.